Moths when she sees her own name in bold ink. Then the slow-motion collapse, knees folding, $400 highlights spilling across cheap tile, while the cuffs snap shut with a metallic finality that echoes. Like a judge's gavel in my skull, the same gavel I've used to sentence mobsters and fraudsters, now turned on a suburban tyrant who thought she could erase my granddad Harlan Whitaker's legacy with a chainsaw and a smile. This is what happens when a HOA president decides to bulldoze a federal judge's family monument, a cedar bridge Harlan muscled together in the winter of 1952. Every joint whispering love louder than any HOA covenant ever screamed. Every plank a love letter to a future he'd never see. They figured they were bullying some dusty rancher who'd trade heritage for a quiet life. They had zero clue I'm Judge Elias Grant, 12 years deep on the D.C. Circuit bench, with FBI contacts on speed dial, Treasury forensic wizards, and a grief-forged resolve that when I'd sit on his knee while he told stories of the Great Depression, of walking 200 miles to find work, of building that bridge with nothing but a handsaw, a mule named Daisy, and a promise to his dying wife Evelyn that their kids would always have a way across Aspen Creek. I inherited 20 acres of sage-salted Colorado heaven just west of Crestview in 2017, land Harlan snagged in 1962 for $3.200 and a handshake with a widow named Mrs. Delgado who cried when he promised to keep the creek singing, to never let the water be dammed or the land paved. Back then, no vinyl-sided cul-de-sacs. No Crestview Meadows estates, just rolling hills blushing gold at sunset, Aspen Creek giggling over polished stones, and Harlan's pride. That bridge, 60 feet of hand-hewn cedar spanning the water. Like a prayer made solid. He carved the railings himself, mountain goats leaping, pine trees twisting, even a tiny Clara, my future wife. He hadn't met yet, but somehow knew was coming. Every notch a love letter to a future he'd never see. Every mortise and tenon joint tighter than a banker's vault. The planks still creaked welcome home every dusk when I'd fly in from D.C. The kind that made me sit on that bridge at 3 a.m. with a Coors and Harlan's old Winchester .30-30 across my lap. Not loaded, just there. The way some men clutch rosaries, and I'd talk to the stars. About cases, about grief, about how the wood still smelled like Granddad's calluses, about how Clara used to dance across those planks barefoot, humming Moon River, her hair catching the last light. Like spun gold. Enter Vanessa Lockwood, 53, HOA president for 9 ruthless years, the kind of woman who measures grass height with a ruler and a vendetta, who times lawn mowing with a husband. Reginald Reggie Lockwood owns Lockwood Luxury Autos, plaid jackets loud enough to wake hibernating bears, voice louder, the power couple who call code enforcement when your flag flies past. Money and blood, witnesses sweating under cross-examination, jurors hanging on every word. Certified letter, cream envelope, gold-embossed Crestview Meadows logo, non-conforming structure adversely impacting aesthetic harmony, property values, and community serenity. Remove within 30 days or face enforcement action. I read it in my Dirksen chambers between witness testimonies. 82. Neighbor who still bakes Biscocos that taste like Clara's hugs, and she whispers. Vanessa was out there yesterday, Mijo, clipboard, measuring tape, face like she swallowed a lemon. Whole, snapping photos from every angle like your bridge owes her money, muttering about property values and eyesores. I dial the HOA office, get voicemail loops tighter than a hangman's knot. Scripted secretaries reciting community standards like scripture, aesthetic harmony like it's the 10 Commandments. Then the letters multiply, fines stacking like poker chips, threats in legalese. 200 later, the plat map glows under my desk lamp. Pine Hollow Ranch sits outside HOA jurisdiction, grandfathered since 1962. Deed older than Vanessa's first facelift, older than the Crestview Meadows. Capacity emerges shaking his head. Judge Grant, this bridge could teach modern engineers humility, exceeds every current code by miles. Craftsmanship like a cathedral. I'd trust my kids on it in a. Extra sunflower seeds for the bluebirds suddenly out of stock. Then the grocery store ambush in the cereal aisle. Vanessa loud enough for the canned goods to hear. Some federal judges think ropes make them gods, but if he'd paid attention at home instead of playing cowboy, maybe his wife wouldn't have. The sentence hangs like a noose. My vision tunnels, Clara's laugh echoing between frosted calls that night, voice trembling. Vanessa crossed into evil. Mijo, pure evil. She mentioned Clara like she had a right. That's when I switch from defense to offense. I order a $2 to a Shell LLC named Sunridge Solutions, registered to Vanessa's cousin. Threats escalate. Anonymous letter in block letters. Accidents happen to stubborn judges. Drop the bridge before something. Worse, tires slashed in D.C. courthouse garage. FBI colleague Agent Marcus Carter gets a heads up, starts a threat file, pulls Vanessa's phone records. Vanessa goes environmental, claims bridge. Actually enhances spawning pools. Stone footings create microhabitats. Water flow improved. Acti closes with me walking the bridge at twilight. Boots on cedar that still remembers Harlan's. Hands, creek murmuring secrets older than subdivisions. Wind carrying the faint diesel growl of Vanessa's demolition dreams. And I realize this isn't about aesthetics. This is about erasing a man's love letter to his descendants because it blocks her McMansion view. And tomorrow, the fight goes federal. I need you to taste the metallic tang of rage mixed with creek water, because Vanessa Lockwood doesn't negotiate, she annihilates. She packs the Crestview Community Center with HOA loyalists, stages tearful testimonies about dangerous structures, endangering children who live free. Runs an editorial, entitled Judges Above Local Law, with a grainy photo of me in my resistal hat, looking like a villain from a John Wayne flick. Vandalism creeps in like fog, mailbox smashed with. One driver even rolling down the window to snap photos. Deputy Javier Lopez, 8-year veteran who grew up on a ranch himself, increases patrols, hands me his cell. Judge, this is crossing lines. I've seen this before. It starts with paint, ends with fire. Twist lands like a meteor. Mrs. Alvarez knocks one rainy Thursday, manila envelope trembling in arthritic hands. I should have given this sooner, but fear is a heavy chain. Vanessa threatened to fine me for my roses if I spoke up. Inside, 1965 newspaper clipping, Harlan's Bridge the only safe crossing in the Great Crestview. Utility easement maps, gas, water, fiber optic, $250,000 reroute cost if demolished. Liability falls on whoever orders removal. County historian Dr. Evelyn Hart confirms 1880 stagecoach route. National Historic Registry eligible, federal protection bulletproof, $1.2 million in grants available for preservation. I assemble the Avengers. Attorney Sofia Ramirez, civil rights lioness who finds private Facebook group, Save Crestview Aesthetics, with 500 members, posts calling me arrogant elitist, danger to children. Forensic accountant Liam Burke, ex-IRS bloodhound, traces $92. Proves Vanessa's koi pond redirects creek flow, causes downstream erosion. State violation, $75,000 fine pending. Vanessa panics, forges emergency demolition order on Office Depot paper. Hires mountain demolition crew, $18,000 contract. Deputy Lopez smells fraud, demands original seals. Crew chief calls courthouse, no record. Contractors bail, leave chainsaws running in the mud. Interviewing law clerks, reviewing 30 years of cases, cleared with exemplary conduct notation, but stress carves new lines around my eyes. Clara's photo on my desk watching like she's disappointed let them get this close. Liam Burke uncovers $15,000 in kickbacks from Sunridge developers. Vanessa promised fast-track permits for Phase 2 if Pine Hollow sold cheap. Dr. Patel installs water. Mrs. Alvarez gone, but her recipe in the festival cookbook. Bridge teaching resilience to wide-eyed 8th graders who'll never know Vanessa's name, but will know Harlan's, will know that love. Carved in cedar, outlasts every chainsaw, every covenant, every tyrant. Legacy isn't wood. It's the story we refuse to let die. The love that outlasts every chainsaw. Now, before you go, wrestle this. Was I wrong to let federal might crush a suburban bully who weaponized grief, or when power squats on a widow's grave? Does the system owe the grieving a thunderbolt of reckoning?